Cop's wife gets neck sliced while cleaning up toys, narrowly survives. Kendra Jensen is a 28-year-old who lives in South Dakota. She was happily married to her husband, Bridgewater, a police officer with whom she had 2 beautiful and loving children. Kandra was left with a gaping neck wound that almost cost her life after she had the most horrific incident on her own front porch, 40 feet away from her husband, Andy. It was around 6:30 p.m. when Andy, Kanda's husband, a cop and 4-year Marine veteran, heard his wife cry out for help. Andy left everything in his hands and rushed to her rescue, as NY Post reported. Andy was shocked at the scene he found when he got there. His wife was bleeding from a gaping wound on her neck after her throat had been slit open right outside their home, according to Daily Mail reports. It all started when Kendra was picking up her children's toys from the family's front porch, and that's when she suddenly felt something hit her. I immediately was just like, that hurt, and so I grabbed my neck. That's when I realized I was bleeding and that my neck was all wet. That's when I freaked out, she recalled. Andy rushed to her aid. He quickly retrieved a trauma bag from the back seat of his car as someone called 911. She's going to bleed out in front of me. That was the very first thing that came to my mind, Andy admitted. I just put my thumbs in it and started going with the gauze, he added, describing how he managed to patch up the wound, which is what kept Kendra alive as they waited for the ambulance to arrive. At the hospital, doctors told the family that the wound miraculously missed vital vessels in Kendra's neck. It was only a few millimeters from her carotid artery, trachea, and vocal cords. I thought that I got hit by a rock. It felt like something, hit me and then fell off me. I didn't know that my neck had been sliced open, Kendra said. Even though what cut her throat still remains to be found, they know where it came from. Kendra's almost fatal wound was due to an improbable lawnmower accident, where an unknown object shot out from the machine's blades and struck her neck while her husband was trimming the grass with a riding mower. This could have played out differently for Kendra had the wound been any closer to her carotid artery. The carotid arteries, which lie on both sides of a person's neck, carry blood to the brain. Severing either of these major blood vessels can lead to quick death, leaving the injured bleeding out and depriving the brain from blood and oxygen. Since the unknown piece of debris that was kicked up by the mower sliced Kendra's neck wide open, narrowly missing her carotid artery, the woman knew she had narrowly escaped a horrific fate and was extremely lucky to be alive. After her tragic incident that could happen to literally anyone, Kanda wanted to warn others and decided to share photos of the gaping neck wound and the resulting stitches on social media with a long message attached. Even though Kendra was 40 feet away from Andy while he was mowing the lawn, the mower still managed to kick up the blade and launch it at her, opening the nearly fatal wound in her neck, in addition to another one on her shoulder. I'm extremely lucky, Kendra wrote in a Facebook post following the incident. I'm thankful my husband has the training he does and could act quickly to get quick clot gauze stuffed into my wound and wrapped with a pressure dressing before the ambulance arrived. Kendra added that her husband and she believed that they had followed all the necessary safety precautions, including checking the lawn before Andy began to mow and staying at what she thought to be a safe enough distance away from the mower. We check our lawn before we mow. We took all the proper safety precautions and we thought we were safe. No matter how well you check your lawn, this could still happen, and I'm living proof of that, Kendra wrote. She also wanted others to know this wasn't Andy's fault in any case. This was a complete freak accident. My husband mows with headphones in, she explained, adding that they have acreage. He wasn't aware I was walking right through the trajectory path, and I was thinking I'm within a reasonable distance that I wouldn't be harmed. I had just walked out our front door, so he wasn't thinking to look for me. Knowing that others out there might not be so lucky, Andy and Kendra Jensen wanted to share the valuable lesson they learned the hard way from their traumatic experience. Andy said that he will no longer allow any members of his family to be outside while he's mowing the yard, KSFY reported, and he hopes others will implement the same rule. No one is definitely going to be outside again when I'm mowing, he said. People all too often get comfortable with their routine chores, which leads them to forget to take even the very basic safety precautions that can prevent horrific accidents like the one that almost cost Kendra her life. Even though the lawn mower is one of the most common tools owned by many people, it can also be a deadly machine. Safety must come first, and that includes keeping loved ones out of the line of danger when it's being used. The best practice is to just keep anyone who's not operating the mower inside the house in absolute safety until you're done using it. What starts as lawn mowing can end up in a tragic accident, taking the lives of people you hold dear to your heart. Better safe than sorry.